All right. I don't think anything about this video is going to be cohesive or pretty. It's kind of just me talking about me and me being me, which is more or less what this will be. A little bit of improvisation with a little bit of a framework for what I want to get out there. But I think if you're interested in working with me, it would help to know at least a little bit about the man, right? So I was born and raised in Nashville. I grew up here, went to Catholic school for middle school and high school, and then moved off to Cookeville for college, where I went to Tennessee Tech. After that, I kind of moved all around. I did a semester abroad in Spain, which I more or less count. I was a senior at the time. Um, yeah, that's when I had to work two jobs one summer, saved up enough money to go over there for a semester. So I can talk about that. And yeah, so St. Louis for a little bit with Edward Jones, small town, all the way up to big city about half the size of New York. So I like to think that I've seen enough to know a little bit about how, a lot about a little bit about a lot of how everything works. Um, Part of I think my framework and the way I see things slash my perspective on life is based around being adopted. I think that it was pivotal, especially now being able to reflect and look back, knowing that I had a mother that sacrificed, who she was in and out of the foster care system as a child herself. She didn't think that she'd be able to provide the kind of life to me that she thought. I don't know. And anyway, and so it was like a big sacrifice for her to do what she did because she was afraid that I'd end up the same way as her. So being adopted kind of gives you this different view on life. I think, especially depending on the environment you grow up in. You know, I always hear, like the argument for abortion is always, like what if those kids end up to be doctors or scientists or astronauts or great people who change the world. And I don't want to like say that like I was chosen or anything like that. I mean, in a way I was, because I was adopted and I was chosen by a family. But that, even on bad days, it's kind of like they're still beautiful days because I'm alive instead of the alternative. And so that's kind of more or less the lens that I view life through. So yeah, so middle school, high school here in Nashville, Catholic high school, good background, good education. Uh, College was consistent of a lot of partying, which ended up being some good networking. A fraternity at one point towards my senior year. I joined around my senior year. I think I joined the fraternity, so I didn't get as much out of it, but I still wanted to be a part of it because I was friends with a lot of the guys who were in it. We met working out at the university fitness center, and they were always good guys, and I just wanted to you know join what they were a part of and help it. I think part of my inspiration growing up, aside from having a fantastic high school football coach named Coach Brothers, um, I think just even from a young age, my grandfather on my mom's side, so the family I was adopted into, well, he was a lineman, not the football kind, but the electrical kind, and so that is a job that kind of you're kind of on call. And so like in his downtime, he also ran a tree trimming business. Um, so just from like even from an early age, knowing of my grandfather and what he did, he had like two things that he did. Um, and then another inspiration would be my uncle. Most of my uncles actually in a lot of ways, but one of them who I'm thinking of in particularly, he's always doing things, and he's always trying to make things better. Whether it be a company that was failing, he would buy it and turn it around. And I witnessed this three times with companies that he was successful with, starting one of the most successful microbreweries down here in the South. restaurants, hotel, operations where so a little bit of everything. So he's one of those people who is owns multiple businesses, and so that's always kind of like given me a unique perspective of things that I would want to position myself for as I move through college and life. So I mean, even from a young age, I was always doing things, whether it was like building Legos, playing video games, playing outside, playing war tag, spotlight tag with the friends, or sports. I mean, I was always like trying different things, wanting to do different things. Um, Even from an entrepreneurial side of things, I've always been a collector of sorts. So I have an extensive collection of Pokemon cards, sports cards, Civil War memorabilia. I still on a metal detector, though not actively use it. So naturally, that collecting mindset translates into the stock market and investments and things like that. And so money has always been an interesting facet of life because it's such a hot button topic for so many people growing up. And I would say my major influences in the beginning were like Dave Ramsey, and then of course my parents. But then as I grew older and I gained a college education and learned about insurance and hedging and leverage and those sorts of things, coupled with, I think, from a young age, I mean, before college, being highly interested in Japanese culture, especially their work ethic. I always thought it was just interesting how they always work, and it was like, and they have a strong national identity as well. Not only that, they have a rich history. The Last Samurai, for a young guy, it was a great movie. But also they were also putting out these great video games, and they still are, and they were back then. And so just seeing a culture that was so advanced and technologically future oriented, it was really cool. Um, I've even visited Tokyo and Kyoto, and as I got older, I explored potential careers in the hospitality industry, and of course, Japan is known for their hospitality and their culture around hospitality. So naturally, when I found out about this concept of arigato your money by Ken Honda, I'm pretty sure. I mean, at least Ken Honda is who I heard it from. I don't know if he's the person, but I'm pretty sure he talks about it learning from one of his successful mentors. And I think that's one of the keys that kind of unlocked the way that I view things now is, be thankful to your money, be thankful when it comes, and be thankful when you use it, because it really helps you understand that it's not anything more than it needs to be. It's literally just a tool that we use to, make things happen. And so from all of that, and a college educational perspective in finance and economics, and it's all kind of come together. And then throughout all of it, physical health has been important. So I think physical health can go hand in hand with mental health, which of course can go hand in hand with career success and overall success as a person. Um, so that is a little generalizations there. I would say around college or soon thereafter is when I stumbled onto the Gallup Strengths Finder, which for those of you, I know a lot of people are into this. So mine's ideation, maximizer, futuristic, command, and adaptability. Um, I have not redone the test to see if a lot of that holds true from like 10 to 13 years ago, but I would say that futuristic and adaptability, hardcore like me. I've always been able to kind of roll with the punches and just move on, move on, move on. And I love sci-fi. I'm excited to go to Mars, all of that stuff. Command I've been working on, and I've gained a lot of experience in the last few years on command, with another business that I started. And then ideation, um, I think that's a fun one because it's a little creative side of me. I was never really good at art per se, writing even, or trombone. I played in a concert band, middle school and high school, and just creatively, I always wish I'd flexed that muscle more. But I still think that the ideas are still there, and abstractly they actually apply to a lot more in life. So that is also in couple with doing like principles. So Ray Dalio in his book Principles, I have a copy around here somewhere. Um, I highly suggest this one too. Go to Principles U and take the thing that they've put together. It's phenomenal. It's a great tool. It takes a while, but you get out what you put in, right? Without it, I would not have known that my humble little upbringing, who always fancied acting and things like that, gets the entertainer as the person that I'm most like. So maybe people aren't as familiar with Principles U, but I'll just go ahead and kind of read the 30,000 foot flyover. I will spare the extensive one, but it says entertainers are driven by creating experiences and engaging with the world, and particularly the people in it. They tend to be outgoing, original, agile, energetic, joyful, and lighthearted. That is, I mean, so that's kind of me and who I am. And so if this is the case, why not share it with the world in an investment sense, and strengths of like my nerdy side? So like the things that I'm good at, like math and all of that, I've, I've done all of this stuff and I want to share it. And that's kind of where I'm at. So talents being extroverted, socially engaging and outgoing, creating and engaging in new ideas and experiences, bringing joy and humor to any situation, using their unique energy and zest for life and people. Holy F. If you know me, I'm a weirdo and my sense of humor is so left field. But once you cross that moat and just get there, you're there with a lot of other great people. Shifting their style and behavior to fit the situation and audience, adaptability, having a deep reservoir of energy and stamina. I've always said and felt like I'm a diesel engine. It takes me a while to get going, but once I get going, I'm going. And that's why I'm more of a long form kind of guy. And that's why we're here 12 minutes later, because I'm not the person who does hot button 5 to 7 clips. I can't do a 2 to 3 minute video. I've tried. You can go witness my efforts on YouTube. Not a problem. My growth needs. So like if you're gonna work with me, it would be finding comfort in alone time and personal reflection. So I do need that time away from being a face, if you were, because that's my creative time, my strategy time, my thinking time, where I write down, I take notes, and I do all my weird stuff. Working out, I need solitude when I'm at the gym. Not dismissing things that need to be taken seriously or the people that take them more seriously. So it's more of a hierarchy, chain of command, less chain of command, more hierarchy of like everything does need to be assigned a priority, and everything in a sense is priority, but at least acknowledge it and we can recategorize it. Learning how to share the stage with others rather than to show what they can do themselves. I'm more comfortable with that. I think that's why this command thing has always given me trouble my whole life. I've been able to take command of myself very well, with my, I don't know, perseverance and just my attitude of like nose to the grindstone, but commanding situations. And I think that's a weakness of myself that I need to be aware of like I need to make sure that I'm aware of that sort of thing. Building a sense of self that doesn't fully rely on those they're with and the connection or attention they get from them. Yeah, I kind of do lose my sense of self. I do kind of get caught up in in the moment and things like that. Okay, so I also have attributes of the impresario and the inspirer. Impresarios love to entertain, engage socially, and facilitate great experiences with others. They tend to be outgoing, inspiring, energetic, and adaptable. That's why I think I make a great business consultant and startup strategist for a lot of people. They have all of these ideas, but I've actually had to like harness all of that people have, and I've actually done it step by step. And so that's where I want to repeat that process for you and inspire. So the inspirer, I lead through motivating people to get behind a challenging and important idea, project, or business objective. They tend to be motivating, engaging, supportive, and leadership oriented. Yes, so that's that's it. I always had coaches growing up that said, I can't get in your pads and your cleats and do it for you. I can only, and they did a good job of coaching and inspiring and getting us to go out on the field and just, hit the other team and score touchdowns and, execute, execute, execute. And so that that's kind of my overall picture and where I want to come at this from. So as far as investment strategies, business strategies, pivoting, I think that innovation is not necessarily something that I want to hang my hat on, because nothing about any of my ideas are innovative. It's just reflexive based on what I see and observe in society, from interacting with it as well as seeing it. And so I think that's generally a good overview of who I am as a person. Of course, I'm always open to questions. um, I'm just a person, and I want to help any way I can. So serving, yeah, that would be the last thing I think. Given that I was adopted and adopted into the family that I was adopted into, it gave me an opportunity to explore a lot of different career paths from an early age, and I was able to struggle successfully by picking up jobs as a server, a waiter, a bellman. Um, I did Lyft and Uber for years. So everything I've always done, whether from financial advising to being an electrician to hospitality, it's always been with a service oriented atmosphere. And of course, I mean, growing up Catholic, there's always thoughts around, service and, service hours and things like that. And I don't know, it is important. It is important to serve others. And that's that's pretty much what has shaped all of my experiences, is kind of trying to be humble and successful, and it's been tough. But now that I'm at this age and you're watching this, it's time to shelve the imposter syndrome and say, listen, I've sacrificed and I've done all of these things and I have this experience. I want to be of help. I may not be the best help, but at least I can offer a unique perspective, and share with you some investment strategies and strategies of using capital that most people have to, pivot from the rat race into a new perspective. So that's what we're trying to do. And yeah, thanks for watching.